how is stage 4 restrictions going for you? If you're in Melbourne, in metropolitan Melbourne, you are in stage 4 restrictions. It is the first week of September, and we hopefully, maybe going to see an ease in restrictions in the next couple of weeks, and they may even extend it further. And we watch and we wait, and hopefully we can keep our patience in the meantime. Just speaking to some friends and family, we just find ourselves not quite being ourselves. We find ourselves affected by this isolation more than what we might have thought. It's staying home, like we've got all our needs catered for. We've got a roof over our head, we've got food in our bellies, yet for some reason it's just not quite enough. And we are all affected by this differently, and that is okay. We must acknowledge and recognize that it is going to affect us in some way, and to own that and to know that. But something else I want to encourage you with is still do your best to maybe even do some good, to maybe take the focus of your situation and help it on the situation of others. And it might be just picking up the phone and saying hello and checking in with people to see how they're going, or just keeping a smile on your face as you go for your walk, or just waving at your neighbors and saying hello across the fence and saying, are you doing okay? Is there any way that I can help? We even delivered a couple of letters to our neighbours just saying, hello, we're thinking of you. If you need anything, give us a call. And so I want to really encourage you to do something good. And one of the things that I personally was able to do was I was able to volunteer at my local ADRA food bank, not far from where I am here in Croydon, in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. And there are some volunteers that deliver food, and I was volunteering to put some of these food packages together, to bag them up. They get a variety of different donations by food, and they put them into bags, and drivers come and deliver them to people who need them. And it's a bit of a thankless job. The people at ADRA, they thank us, but we never get to experience the person. We never get to see the smile on their face, or we never get to experience the goodwill that happens. It's sort of like the low glamour job, to do it behind closed doors as you volunteer your hours. And sometimes it's good to do that as well. And in fact, some of the behind the scenes jobs that are done in volunteering are some of the most important. And so if you are one of those guys, good on you. If you are one of the team that is as part of one of these food delivery drivers, whatever charity it might be, working behind the scenes, good for you. Keep up the good work. And I was reminded of a couple of texts in Scripture as I was working, and it's both from the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew. And the first one is from chapter 5, and it goes like this: "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp under a bowl, or instead put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." And this is Jesus speaking. He's saying, hey, do good. Let others see good, and let it glorify God. But what's really interesting, in the same conversation, Jesus says something quite different. He says, be careful, this is in chapter 6, be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what the right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And this almost seems to be these two different points, where Jesus in one breath says, hey, let others see your good deeds, and in another breath, don't be seen, do it in secret. And I think both are good for the soul. One, yes, do good deeds. Let us help those around us, and then maybe by our efforts they'll ask why, and we can glorify God. Or we do it in secret, and a reward is promised. But above all things, in both situations, God can be glorified. In one, others can be brought closer to God, and on the other hand, we are brought closer to God in our service. So whatever you do, whether you do it and it's seen by others, glorify God. And if you are doing it in secret, feel His presence and the reward that comes from Him as you serve, as you volunteer, as you give, whatever it might be. But above all things, let me just encourage you, in this time when we might be worried about ourselves, when we might be feeling the stress of isolation, do what you can to do good for someone else, and you will receive a reward for yourself from God. Blessings with this. I hope that encourages you in these hard times.